Yo, what's going on, everybody? Here, me and Mike G down here in Tampa, we're chilling. Yo, it's the holiday season. We got Gena on. She's up in the upper part of New York. So, Gena, where you at, my girl?
I'm in Long Island.
All right, so it's like we already know. We talked a little earlier. It's cold. Hey, guys, we want to thank everybody that's been watching the show and keep subscribing and doing all these great things for us. We got Gena on here today. She is a cancer survivor, and we want to just talk about the different things because unknown that Gena may not know is that recently Christine Knapp's a dear friend of mine. She went to Italy for a vacation, came back. She was diagnosed with pancreas cancer, and she was like gone within 60 days. And it was like, well, and I had to speak at her funeral just then. That's why we had to kind of delay a couple things for me coming on the shows because I spoke at her funeral and went there. And the thing was, you know, cancer is a rough beast. And we've had several different guests on the show talking about it, and we're going to keep that awareness alive. We're not going to stop it. It's just not the month of October. It's several months. Mike's lost people that are close to him, and we're going to talk about, talk with Gena today, just about her journey, her survivability, and the things that it changed her life and way she changed her perspective. So, Gena, welcome to the show. How are you?
Good. Thank you for having me.
All right. So, where are you originally from? Are you originally from New York? Are you born and raised? What's going on?
Born and raised in New York.
All right. So what's your favorite food? Is it the pizza? Is it Chicago style pizza or New York style pizza the best?
New York style pizza. Come on.
Anyway, Mike G's over there from the Bronx and stuff. So I don't know. Are you a baseball fan or not?
I love all sports. I'm definitely more of a football kind of girl.
All right. So Jets or Giants?
Giants, baby.
Because they have the rings. They have the rings. Jets got one. I got you. Like down here in Tampa, everybody's a Tampa fan now.
Yeah.
Now. So let me ask you, how old were you, or when did you find out when you were diagnosed with cancer? How did that impact you?
Yeah, so I was 3.5 when I was diagnosed with leukemia. And yeah.
Wow.
So that was a long and tough. And listen, like I was young. I am blessed to be in a family where like exercise, holistic health, eating right, like that was number one in my family. So my parents we have a family fitness business. So my parents have been involved in the fitness industry for over 35 years.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. That's nice.
Yeah. So when, this transpired, my mom actually, my parents had brought me to the doctor, and they were like, she doesn't look good. She's very pale. She's bruising very easily. And that was another thing. Like when I tell my story, like I want parents to also understand, like, hey, pay attention to your children to make sure like some signs, see what's going on, see how they're feeling. So it took like several times for my mom to be like, no, there is something wrong with her. And the doctors were like, okay. So they did blood testing. And when they did the blood testing, they were like, you need to go to LIJ immediately. So it was Schneider's Children's Hospital at the time. And that's where I was treated. It's in New York. And
is it part of the Shriners program there? It's like Shriners when they have for kids that have illnesses.
Right. So They were Schneider's Children's Hospital. Now they're Cohen's Children's Medical Center now.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, that's where I was treated. It was a long and tough battle. Again, I was very young. So it was a couple of years till I was out of the woods. I remember good times, which, that's beneficial. But it was definitely tough on the family. However, you see family structures, right? And you see families go through adversity. And my parents have been married for over 32 years. They have 5 kids and they stuck it together.
Wow.
Yes.
Yeah. So with you being sick and here's the thing for a lot of parents. So this is a great conversation to have because we have so many children that get right now we're doing Mended Hearts with the Mended Hearts with my school, Thurgood Marshall, and we're supporting kids that having to go in with heart disease or illnesses that have to do with the heart. So back in the day when you were sick, when people are still kind of getting their hands around children having cancer or kids being sick, were you having to be like put away to like special schools, or did you have to do certain things because you're missing school? But also, you at certain times, if you're going through chemo or you're going through any kind of treatment, you couldn't get sick with some other illness because your immune system is kind of being it's kind of depleted. So how did your parents handle that situation? I don't want to say boy, girl in the bubble, but so how did they handle the whole situation?
Yeah, honestly, they did. I mean, I don't know how they did it, to be honest. They did a wonderful job, though, because I was definitely behind in school. I couldn't go to school. I couldn't play sports. I didn't have a childhood like everyone else. However, and it's ironic because I'm an author. So like at one point in time, I wasn't able to read. Like I was so behind. And my parents, because they knew the importance of like exercise, movement, sports, and development in terms of children's motor skills. So they put me in a very small school. It was a Quaker school, very small.
A Quaker school?
Yes, it was a very small school. It was great though, like very creative. I think there was like 8 people in the class. Like
what?
Yeah, very small. And it was great. Like I had such a good time, and I remember those good times. I still have friends from that school, which is so cool. And so, they helped me. I worked my way up, and I wasn't left behind in school. I ended up catching up. They did tell my parents at one point. They were like, "Hey, she might develop some form of illness, or she has they call it chemo brain." Which
what is I didn't mean to cut you off, but what is chemo brain? Because me and Mike, I got a history degree, and Mike's an IT kind of guy, so we definitely don't know.
So listen, I'm not a doctor or anything, but chemo brain, it does affect the left part of your brain. Actually, it can really affect any part of your brain. I'm not saying it only affects the left. It affected my ability to like read numbers well, like do math, like whatever. That's what calculators are for. Like it's fine. So
don't worry, I got a history degree. I'm right there with you. Public math, I am not your guy.
So it does affect the brain as a whole, and how you process things, how you analyze things, how you view life from a different lens. And every single survivor is different. We have our family friend. While I was getting treated in the hospital, she is also a survivor. She relapsed with leukemia twice.
Wow.
And it affected her motor skills. So she speaks slowly, she walks slowly, she talks slowly. So, if she can't drive, it affected her in that way, but she got a master's degree in social work. So, I mean, she's incredible. It's not like she's not able to do these things. It just affected her, physically. So that's one side of the coin. And then the other side of the coin is you can also, because of the chemotherapy, be diagnosed with another form of cancer down the road, which is
really
what happened to me.
Mm-hmm. Oh, so what did you get diagnosed with next?
Yeah. So down the road, I mean, I lived a great life, played sports. I went to Ithaca College. I competed in track and field, and I was age 20. I was a junior in college. I had a really bad migraine one day. So I went to the health center, and she's like, okay, let's check this out. Make sure it's not a sinus infection or whatever. So she's like feeling, and then she gets to my throat, and she's like, I saw her face change, and I'm like, what's that? What's that mean? And I was an exercise science major. So they don't really tell you these things. So when she felt my thyroid, she's like, I don't like what I'm feeling here. Like you need to go to an ENT immediately. I'm like, okay, well, it's the last 2 weeks of school. I'm about to go to a state championship meet and I have finals. Like this is not going to work for me.
What sport were you playing then?
Track and field.
Okay. Oh, you're a runner.
Yeah. Short sprints, and I threw the javelin.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
All right.
So I'm like, all right, I guess. So I didn't tell anyone. I kind of just like roughed it out, and I was like, all right, let's just do this. So I went to the ENT, which like I took a taxi cab there. I, did it all on my own. And he's like, listen, I think this is benign, but it's a big nodule. It was 4.3 centimeters sticking out of my neck. And again, I'm lifting heavy. I'm like feeling like, okay, maybe like it's my muscles, whatever.
So let me ask you a question, not before you go any further. So, everybody, mostly with women, men don't do a really good job at it. That's why so many get prostate caught late
Right.
or a lot of things, because men don't like to go self-check. So during your self-check exams, you didn't even notice that there was some difference in your thigh, I mean, with your neck or anything, and they just happened to catch it through that examination.
Yes.
Wow, man.
And bless that woman. Like, she's amazing. That
You might want to send her a Christmas card this year.
100%. Like, I still contact her. Like, she's amazing.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. So as I, went through this process, they were like, okay, like, this is a nodule. It's just a growth on the thyroid. We don't think it's anything serious. And I did not in my head think that this would be cancerous. So they're like, you have to go get a biopsy. So I went to Cayuga Medical Center. I went to go get a biopsy upstate. I remember going down into the basement and I was like, oh my gosh, this is so creepy. So we're going down there and, they do the biopsy. They stick those needles in your neck and they're like, listen, we can't tell. We have to do a bunch of slides. We think this is benign. I'm like, all right, whatever, cool. So I finally tell my parents, tell my coach. That was like a whole nother thing.
I'm sure your mom and dad had an emotional moment. I mean, think that they've just survived this first traumatic situation and now here we are again. So, I mean, wow. I mean, just shout out to your parents on this. Well, go ahead.
Yeah. I mean, again, they're incredible and they're very stable, strong, realistic people. And the support team that I have, again, when someone is going through health adversities or any type of adversities in life, having a support team is crucial. I mean, I remember my mom telling me that there were kids in the hospital while I was getting treated and their parents weren't there. They were alone. And unfortunately, those were the kids that didn't survive. And it's, it's sad. So yeah, to have a support team is very crucial. So I went through this process, told my parents. They were like, okay. So my mom's contacting all different hospitals, and we actually got in touch with Memorial Sloan Kettering because I had to get this removed regardless of the fact if it was benign or cancerous. And they were like, she had the president of the hospital on the phone, and she's like, you got to come home now. I'm like, listen, that's not going to work for me. I literally have to compete in a state championship meet, and I got to finish finals. I'm not coming back to school to do finals. So they're like, all right, fine. You're kind of going to come back. And then in June, we'll get the surgery done. So in the meanwhile, and this is where I really step in for what I do is be your own patient advocate, because I went to see multiple doctors. Don't just see one doctor, see multiple doctors if you're going through some health adversities. And the first doctor was like, listen, this is when I came home. It was at LIJ. Listen, we're going to take out the whole thyroid. You're going to take radioactive iodine, and then you're going to have to take Synthroid for the rest of your life. I said,
wow,
that's not going to work for me. That's not going to work for me. So, and again, I grew up in a family where they taught me to be able to speak my voice, to be able to be my own patient advocate. And if something doesn't work for you, it doesn't work for you. So then I go see another doctor at Memorial Sloan Kettering, Dr. Shaha, who did an amazing job. He ended up being my surgeon. And the first doctor, after I told him I was going to go see Dr. Shaha at Memorial Sloan Kettering, he was like, oh, I studied under him. I was like, well, there's my answer. So I went to go see him. And he's like, listen, we're going to take half the thyroid out. It's encapsulated. You're going to leave half your thyroid in. No radioactive iodine, no Synthroid.
That was good. I mean,
excellent.
So you're like, okay, we're down. So what was your recovery time like?
Oh, it was a rough recovery. I do not wish this on anyone. This was neck surgery. They took out half. I still have the other half of my thyroid. Fun fact, you can function on 1/3 of your thyroid.
Oh, you figured that. So that's one of them I need to use for trivia next time it comes up in a question. You can still function with that 1/3, just so you know.
No medication, nothing. I'm good. And it's been 10 years. So thank God. and the recovery was rough. So I took this was during the summertime, June 2nd, 2014. I took the whole summer to recover and recuperate. And again, I made sure mindset is 99% of the battle. Like, I would envision myself being able to walk. I would envision myself being able to speak. It was very tough to breathe. It was tough to move my head. And I just like would envision myself I'm happy I was a part of a sport, because that's what motivated me to keep going. And I had my senior year to look forward to. And so I got back. I started training again after 3 months. I went back to school. I ran track and field. I ended up hitting personal records and just rocking it out. And yeah, I mean, again, the recovery was tough, but mindset was 99% of the battle.
Yeah, and that's a lot. Mike, what do you got, man? Why you sitting over there
Well,
like to see?
she said mindset. Well, first of all, she's Italian, so the mindset don't play there. You know what I'm saying? Well, the thing is too, you never gave up, and that's a good thing. You know, you seem like we have your website here. You have all your information. You're not. Some people might give up and get weak and just be, feel like they have to just give up. You know, they give up on themselves. But as your characteristics, I seen right now, you're not quitting, and you also had a good a backbone of a team, so that's good. And I'm glad you survived. That's good. I know somebody like cancer and they didn't survive, but like you said, never go with one doctor, always go out, because the person I knew, oxygen helped her for a while. Oxygen going into the body was destroying the cancer itself.
Yep.
So who knew that? We didn't know that, but we looked into it. But once again, thank you for surviving. Thank God. But the key factor I'm trying to get is you should never give up, and you did it, and that's a good factor right there. That's,
And so as you're building your platform, and we were looking at it. So Mike on YouTube. So what are you kind of delivering? What kind of information on YouTube are you delivering right now?
So right now I'm really focused on holistic health and energy. So I really want people to understand that fitness and nutrition are the foundation. Like, those are the pillars, those are the buckets, like that. Those are non-negotiables, right? Sleep, nutrition, fitness. But what about emotion? What about your mental? What about your spirituality? And all of those things, energy connects all of them. And so I create health and wellness education for people who don't know these things, who don't want to do the research on their own, who want to learn, who want to get better, who want to optimize their health and well-being. Because it's not just go to the gym, do a HIIT workout. Oh, I'm healthy. That's not how it works. Like, yes, that plays a role, but there's more to it. And being in the fitness industry, I've been in it for over a decade. I grew up in it, coaching track and field, training people. And I noticed that, there's still people that were struggling with their mindset. And although fitness absolutely sets the tone, there's so much more. And so I really like to focus on, and that's actually what I'm writing my second book on, which will be out in 2023, about how the human energy system and the human anatomy and physiology system are both connected. Everything is connected. So
yes, so one thing you hit on, you said spiritual, and I'm going to honestly tell you, I was talking to a bunch. I coach football, and I talked to a bunch of all the time, and I was in the Army 30 years. So, you caught it, and I'm not talking about just godly spiritual. I am talking the inner spirit of being a human being and having a faith in it, regardless of what it is, in something higher than yourself. And what I found out recently is that during COVID, what I noticed was, while people were struggling and saying that they were having anxiety, they were having this and they were having that. You know what I told them? I said, here's the problem you got is you don't have faith in anything. You don't have a higher faith mentally or internally within you. And I always default back to people say, you know what, you don't never quit. Why are you such a grinder? But I always tell them, I said, I have to reflect back to, African Americans that were slaves. I said, their faith in Native Americans, their faith in their spirits, the Aztecs, their faith in their spirits. It doesn't matter what the religion was. It was the fact that they believed in a higher internal authority that they could get through anything. And I tell people now is that the fact that a lot of people don't have faith in themselves is 90% of the holistic battle they have with the common world. And so why they're miserable, 90% of the reason they're miserable has to do with an outside force. Internally, they need to do some house cleaning. What's your take on, people kind of this, this take these days where you've been through what you've been through and you realize, man, there is another side of the hill. Once you get to the top of the hill, you actually can walk down the other side of the hill, but you got to get there. How often do you talk to young people and when what you do these days about, there is a plateau, but you got to get to the other side? Do you have to have those conversations with young people?
Absolutely. I coached high school track and field for a long time. And, it's really like that mental toughness. And again, it's really tough, especially post-pandemic, where everyone feels like they're very restricted and very restrained. And getting them to look outside of this narrow-minded focus, is it challenging? Yeah. But honestly, the one tool that I love to use is meditation, and kids need it. The youth needs it. When I, my mom is the head coach, my dad coaches track and field as well. And whenever I go in and I'm like, who wants to do some meditation? They're like, oh, me. Like, they love it. They love it. And they don't even know what it is. And I'm like, okay, listen, like, you don't have to go into this whole scientific background behind it. Like, they know it feels good. So why not try to incorporate that into the school system? Why not try to incorporate it into like their health education? And again, this is the missing piece, like not just meditation itself, but like, I love how you we're talking on the point of spirituality and how it's innate, because it absolutely is innate. People get very confused and they have this fine line of like, oh, well, this goes against my religion.
That's it. Oh my God. I hear it all the time, but go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, you get it. So religion is external. Religion was made by the people for the people.
That's correct.
Spirituality is innate within all of us. It's in our DNA. Like, we are connected to whatever higher power, whatever you believe in, right? It's our soul's purpose. It's our soul's mission. And what I do, this is part of my soul's purpose and my soul's mission, to help other people get healthy and tap into that inner healing. And giving up, right? You're just giving up. You're giving up on life. Like, who else is going to fight for you? Nobody's going to fight for you.
Nobody's coming to save you. The boats are burned and you're on the island alone. You're going to save yourself. Save yourself.
Save yourself. And, people like to talk about like, oh, don't be selfish. However, self is part of selfish. So
it is. So let me ask you this. You coach sports. I don't understand why the high school system, and this is the one thing that's been bothering me. All right, the kids don't want to do PE, physical fitness anymore. I do not know why the high school system hasn't taken on meditation or yoga as part of the process, because now, the students would still get that physical fitness, but not at the high exertion rate that nowadays they don't want to, do. I mean, we were just talking about certain sports, certain jobs these days, they can't find qualified people because you have to be fit to be in those positions. Like construction, there's like multiple jobs out there you actually have to be kind of in some shape to do. And the population's not there anymore. They were talking the other day on the news. Me and Mike were talking about it today. Ages 35 to 55, men, you can bear 40%. You can't even get them to do a physical labor job anymore. Almost. It seems the number was a little skewed, but we were like, it's just, but there is some truth to this. So thing is, I don't understand why the school system hasn't caught up with holistically looking at a student as a human being with needs that need to still be met, not just academic stuff. So with you coaching, what do you think about that?
Money and power. It all comes down to money and power. I'm sorry, but that's what it is. And it's very unfortunate because it's hurting these young people. I actually did read and because you're a part of the military, this is a really cool stat. I mean, it's actually kind of sad, but 75% of the people today would not be able to pass the physical exam to get into the military.
That is correct. That
75%. That is over half. That's crazy.
If they kept the standard to where when I came in, it's 75% or I probably higher could not get in for the requirement that I had to meet.
Yeah.
They've had to drop the standard, but here's the problem. Anytime you're dropping standards on anything, you run the risk of having the capacity of not being able to complete things. And I tell people, because the metric doesn't change because you drop the standard. So if you still got to go carry a ruck 10 miles and you drop the standard to 2 miles, by the time when you actually have to do the 10 miles, you're not going to be able to do what you got to do on the other end. And it's kind of like when you're battling cancer. It's one of those things that you guys, I've seen people go through it. My grandmother went through it. Is that it's all or nothing. Some people give up along the way. I've literally known people that literally were going through chemo and they literally said, you know what, I can't do this no more. I'm good. I'm good. My stepmom was that way. She got to a point, she literally was tired because the battle probably would have been another 3 years. So it was the fact that she tapped out. She was like, hey, I'm not going to make it. And I had to respect it because what she had been through. And it's sad to say that, but people don't realize that. I said, some people that, like myself, have never physically went through it. That takes a lot of mental fortitude. You know what I mean, Gena?
Yeah, it does. It does. Just to relate on that conversation, I've been with somebody going through chemo, and it's just the odor, what the effects it does to the body, the drain, and then the beat up, and it's like 6 months to a year. You doing this constantly every once a month, and then you just in bed for almost a week after that. So I can see why they give up, and not everybody's built like it. We're all different. But I can see why, and it's kind of sucks. But I just wanted to put an insight on that.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
I could see that as well, and I totally understand. And people are like, "Oh, well, Gena, how did you do it?" And I mean, like what I do and what I teach about like holistic health. Move your body. Stop sitting around looking at TV and on your phone and scrolling through TikTok. Stop eating junk food and this ultra processed food. Like there's so many things that are preventative measures. Go meditate. You know what the problem is? A lot of people don't actually know what they want in life, and they can't see the end of the tunnel.
That's right. That's right. What do we call it? Begin with the end in mind.
Yes, exactly. And they don't, if you go around and you ask people, hey, what do you want in life? Most people don't actually know what they want. And they wouldn't be able to tell you.
I want to be rich. I want a nice car. I want a nice house. And then you ask them, how are you going to get it? Oh, wow.
They don't know. And it's like, what is your, it all comes down like Simon Sinek, your why. What is your why? And again, this is where meditation comes in. This is where sitting with yourself and understanding your own energy. What are your boundaries? What are your non-negotiables? You waking up early in the morning, go exercise, go get outside in nature, go get some sunlight. These small habits that lead to a bigger impact. Most people don't know how to do it, and they have no motivation to do it. And that's where I come in. That's what I help people with. I'm that guiding light. I'm like, listen, follow me. I'm going to clear the white noise and I'm going to show you the way. And listen, every single person is different. However, whatever works for you, use that as a compliment in your life. Add these small things in daily, and just start there. Start just like understanding yourself and start with your why. And then so many things will open up in your life.
Oh yeah. Everybody else asked me, how do you go to the gym at 3 a.m, 3:30? I was like, real easy. Put my feet on the floor and I get up and go, because I've learned a long time ago, nobody's going to do it with, except myself. And the one thing I'll be 58 next year. And my whole thing is, I want to live the best life I can for as long as I can to enjoy things around me. So what advice would you give someone, and leave your imprint in the sand before we get off here, of advice that you would give anyone that's going to be listening to this podcast when we get it out on the street and so everybody can hear? What's your strong advice to people?
I would say, don't give up, continue to fight the fight, and know what you stand for, know your why, and be kind to yourself, right? You're kind to other people, but be kind to yourself. Like, nobody is going to fight the battle of life but you. Nobody else is going to do it for you. So take ownership
Yes.
Your life, take ownership of your health. It's your birthright. You were literally born into this world to take care of yourself. Yes, you have your parents. Yes, you have your family, or maybe you don't. So again, why are you just sitting by the wayside and saying, oh, this person can do this, I can't do it? Why? Why can't you do it? There's plenty of abundance to go around for everyone. Everyone's different. So figure out your why, and your purpose will open up right in front of your eyes before you know it.
Oh, I love that. I love that. Mike G, before we get out here, my brother, what you got, man, from Miss G?
Nice meeting you once again. You're a strong young lady. Congratulations on your survival. And congratulations on your business. I see your website. You got 1, you got 2, you got a book. You're doing your thing.
Thank you.
Don't stop. Don't stop. It's on.
Never give up.
No, never give up. Keep on doing it. It's really insane. And I have to meditate. My son tells me that. You wanted to meditate with me. He does yoga at school. You know, he goes to a nice little school. But
amazing.
Yeah, he's like, meditate. I'm like, I don't got time. But you know what? I need to do it.
You got to do it.
I got to do it.
You can do it. If you need help, you know where to find me.
There you go. Hey, I got your web. Like, what's up? Help me. But nice meeting you. I appreciate it.
You too. Pleasure.
Hey, G and I want to appreciate you and say thank you and happy holidays and Merry Christmas and all that, everything that comes with it. But, you know, you've been great. I appreciate you coming on the show. And as me and Mike G always say, when someone comes on, you got to keep it rolling.